This is the Fairline Squadron 68. It shares a hull with the Targa 65 sports cruiser, but for now it stands tall as the flagship of Fairline's Flybridge range. The starting price is just over £2 million including VAT, but this boat with nearly every single optional extra fitted to it was £2.84 million. There are two engine options, twin 1150 horsepower or twin 1200 horsepower.
Now this particular boat has got the pair of Caterpillar C18 1150 horsepower engine, so it has the smallest engine option and it's also about as heavy as you could make a Squadron 68. It weighs in on the water at about 45 tonnes because it's got nearly every single option checked, and on this one boat the hardtop has been hand laid as opposed to resin infused, so it's a couple of 100 kilograms heavier. So what that means is that top speed on this particular boat is only about 28 knots, but to be honest, cruising now like we are at 21, 22, just under 2000 RPM feels so comfortable and quiet that it doesn't feel like much of a penalty to have to cruise at this speed. Now the other option, engine option at the moment, is 1200 horsepower MANs, but I really don't see that giving you much more performance. So Fairline are looking at fitting the 1400 horsepower MANs, which would give you probably 33 knots flat out, meaning you can cruise a bit more comfortably at say 25, 28 knots. This boat is really about straight line comfort. It's what it's designed for, big wafty Flybridge, but it has also got very, very light steering, so it's a really nice boat to handle. I mean, the steering is absolutely feather light. Fairline's fly-by-wire system. And okay, it's not a sports boat, but it does turn nice and neatly, and it's actually got oversized rudders on this boat here, same size that they used on the Squadron 78, and you feel that in hard turns because it's got a really tight turning circle for a boat of this size. And though of course you're not really going to be chucking it around too much, it doesn't harm that it's nice and light to react to the helm. It doesn't feel like you're driving such a big boat, and the driving position helps with that as well, because you are nice and close to all the controls. You don't feel detached like you sometimes do on boats of this size. The wheel is close to you, the throttles are close to you. Okay, the three screens up on the dash are a little bit of a stretch, but then you have got the separate keypad down here so that you don't have to lean quite so forward to control them. One major focus for Fairline on the Squadron 68 was quietness and refinement, and they've done a really good job. They put a special amount of work into the soundproofing between the engine room bulkhead, and it has made a big difference because we're now cruising at 22 knots, 2000 RPM, and the sound level is just over 70 decibels, which means for longer journeys, especially down here at this helm, it's really soothing. You don't hear the engines too intrusively, so for long distances at a decent speed, very relaxing to drive. So it's an aft galley layout here on the main deck, and what they've been quite clever with is utilising what's usually wasted space underneath the Flybridge staircase, because this storage here is integrated into it, so this drawer is sliding beneath the tread on the staircase. You even get a massive great locker down here, which actually the owner is going to put a freezer in to supplement the fridge freezer that's here, and opposite you have an ice maker and a wine cooler. Another nice touch is that as well as the doors opening right out, you have this window that moves down nice and quick, sinks down into the deck, though strangely not right down, which is a bit odd, but it does open up this area nicely to the cockpit. And another great feature is that this main deck is completely flat, from saloon into cockpit, completely flat threshold, and there's no step amidships either, so you can walk about knowing that you're not going to trip over any obstacles. And then you begin to feel that Fairline build quality. The varnished walnut woodwork is absolutely top notch, and this is a nice area too, because this independent coffee table setup means that you can get between to get into the dinette, but also they both rise up and out, and then this leaf comes over to connect them so that you have a proper dining table. Looks great, and practicality is very good as well. Now, the lower deck is very flexible on the Squadron 68. So as standard, you have a 3 cabin layout, and you get a day heads here with a bit of storage. You can have an extended VIP cabin layout as well, so that's 3 cabins, but you get more space in the VIP by bringing the door further aft. Or you can have a 4 cabin layout, where you get a bulkhead across here, and you get bunk beds in there, so you get 2 extra sleeping spaces. Now this particular customer has completely customized this area, so you have space for a washer dryer Down here you have a bit of a counter surface, more storage, and then you have a bespoke bed down there for the owner's cat. First time I've ever seen that on board a boat I've tested. And midships we have the master cabin, which we're going to have a look at now. Now the owner is treated to this pretty spectacular full beam master cabin. Completely flat floor, plenty of headroom. I'm about 6 foot and I've got plenty of room to walk all the way around. There's no obstructions overhead or around your feet, and loads of storage in this cabin. And again, the finish is lovely. The woodwork is exemplary. The soft backlighting is really nice. You've got marble on the tops. It just feels elevated and a really nice space to be in. This side, you've got a really nice sized wardrobe. There's a secret closet behind this mirror as well. And you have a very generous, almost full width heads here with a separate shower cubicle. The first thing to say about this Flybridge is that the Helm station is fantastic. I love the fact that Fairline have really focused on the ergonomics. So you have a fully adjustable seat, adjustable steering wheel, everything falls really nicely to hand and feels good and close to the helmsman. You have a separate seat for your navigator, but space in between so they can get in and out without disturbing the skipper. Really good job done there. And then this area here, you can either have more seating or this sunpad option that this boat's got. And that's quite good because you've still got this bench here so people can sit facing forward when the boat's going along, but you have a convertible sunpad to give you a bit more dedicated sunbathing space. This may look like the wet bar, but in fact the proper wet bar is aft. This is actually just a bit of storage space, and then behind here you have an outdoor television so you can sit up here on the dinette and have the TV on at the same time, which is quite nice. Obviously the focal point is this huge great dinette, but the area I really like is aft. A lot of the time that space is just left open for freestanding chairs, but really I'm not sure people use it like that. To have really nice low slung fixed furniture there feels like a nice super yachty touch. Now we need to talk about this sunroof. I mean, you say sunroof, it uses this sort of San Lorenzo style slat system where they all come down horizontally to completely seal off the roof. Then you press a button and they turn vertical to let the sun come down. Frankly, apart from how cool it looks aesthetically, I'm not sure it's as effective as a fabric sliding roof, but hey, it's the only option. Fairline fitted it and it's a bit of a talking point. Now up here on the foredeck, there's quite a bit going on actually. You have this Portuguese bridge set up, but interestingly they have boarding gates either side, which is not something I've seen before. Now Fairline admit that's more of an aesthetic thing, so that from the outside you have a broken line where you have the space in the coaming here, but actually they have a bit of a safety feature, especially if you've got small kids up here. And then this area is quite versatile. Of course you've got your fixed sunpad, but then this boat doesn't have it, but you can also have a table that comes out from under here to set up here, and then with that you can put this backrest up like that, so you have a pose seating to make it that little bit more sociable. What's nice about this area is that all the deck gear is hidden away, so you're not going to be catching your toes as you walk around this bow section. The windlass is tucked under this locker here, and then the cleats are right forward on the bow so that they're out the way but also perfectly usable. Back here on the transom there are some other nice features, like the fact you have this bench here looking out over the water, and then this is something Fairline have been doing for ages, but it's still quite a novelty to have a proper shower that goes over your head with a proper tap and head back here on the transom. Here we are down in the engine room, and as you can see there's plenty of headroom down here for somebody of 6 foot. It's easy to get around the engines, a little bit harder to get outboard of them, but obviously very easy to walk between and get to either end. And as you can see, there is space for those larger lumps. If they want to fit those 1400 horsepower MANs, there's space for that down here. You've got your twin Raycor fuel filters, 2 per engine, with nice clear bowls so you can easily see and check the quality of the fuel. And in general, it's a really easy engine room to work in with a decent amount of artificial light as well.